So we're now going to move on to muscles of the body. When we're talking about muscles of the body, we will refer back to the anatomical terminology that we used in earlier lessons, as this will help us in many different ways. It helps you to distinguish between different parts of the anatomy. It also helps with the learning of muscle names. We're going to introduce some new terminology, origin and insertion, and there's some general rules for you to help you understand what muscle origins and insertions are. The origin is usually nearer the midline of the body, medial, or superior, so higher up in the body. The insertion point is usually away from the midline, so lateral, and or inferior, so lower down. There are exceptions to this, e.g. some muscles that run vertically reverse this rule, i.e. rectus abdominis. I'm going to be going through some examples of origin and insertion with you shortly. So on your screen, you can see a brief overview of the muscles that you need to learn for your level 3 performance massage. And you'll need to understand the name of the muscle, their origin, their insertion, and the joint actions they're responsible for. Attached to this is a document which will show the following slides. They are broken down into muscles of the upper limb. Let's use an example of the bicep here on the screen. So it shows the bicep. We discussed the origin of it, the scapula, the insertion point, the radius. So the scapula is that superior area of the body. The radius is in that inferior position. It crosses both the elbow and the shoulder joint. And the joint actions that occur are flexion of the elbow and supination of the forearm. And right at the bottom there, you can see an example of an exercise that might occur, i.e. the bicep curl, e.g. the bicep curl. So let's talk about, I'm going to go through one more with you, which would be the tricep. So the tricep also has the scapula as its origin and the humerus, and it inserts on the ulna, so the lower bone of the forearm. It too crosses the elbow and the shoulder, but because the tricep is on a different position to the arm, on the back of the arm, its joint action is extension of the elbow. And an example of an exercise that you would perform using the tricep would be tricep dips. So as I said, this document will be available for you to use for revision. And you can see it's broken down into muscles of the upper body, trunk and core muscles, and the lower limbs, including our pelvic floor muscles. So what I'd like you to do is have a little go through this. You can print it off if you want. You can use your printing balance in the library if you're on campus, and print these off and use them as revision guides. I'll be setting you an assignment where there will be a small table to fill in, similar to the one that's in your LAR, where I'll ask you to identify origin and insertion and joint actions for each of these muscles.